All right, guys, back in the shop again. It's at like 7 o'clock at night now, starting on shift number 2. So tonight I plan on getting the fuel tank in permanently with 2 lines coming off of it that go down to be connected to later down the line. I'm probably just gonna put one line for the feed, and then goes right to one of the fuel filters, because I don't have the pump yet, but I need a filter anyways. So figure out where I'm gonna put the filter, somewhere down here probably. Not there obviously, because that's where the exhaust goes. So figure out where that all has to go, and then get it put into a way where I could just bolt up everything later. And then this, you guys will love this one. So I made this, I threaded and then used some RTV to seal in these connectors, and it's for the water overflow. And I'm gonna put it right here with a little hole drilled into it, so I can just tuck the radiator overflow. Yes, this is exactly what you guys can tell it is. A little vent on top, and then a push lock, and then I could just drain it if it gets filled with head gasket water. And then I painted it black, and I welded this bracket onto it, this piece of scrap metal I found. So put this guy in, and then put a little push lock hose to it, and we should be good. So yeah, this is unique. You guys have probably never seen anybody use a water bottle like this. I just had it laying around, and I was like, you know, that looks like it'll be cheap. So this guy will hopefully be going in tonight, and I'll figure out some fuel lines. All right, I need to do brake line stuff too, but I hate brake lines, so slow moving on this one. Okay, so I'm just messing around with the fuel system now because I have automotive ADHD where I cannot work on one thing until completion, but it's also kind of a process for a reason, because I want to work on everything all at once. And if I start on everything, I know what I need and I know where I'm at, instead of once you get to that project, you're kind of just in a shitty spot where it's like, oh no, now I need all these things, or I didn't realize this or that. So I've said it before, if you start on everything, you'll be in a better spot once it comes to completing everything kind of all at once. Everything kind of comes together. So I am working on the fuel pressure regulator right now. It's going to be somewhere over here, probably in the corner. And then the fuel line needs to go up into there, which is kind of a tough spot. It's a little awkward, honestly. It needs to be like a 180 to make it, like, I don't know, nice, I guess. But it's going to be somewhere over here. Some people would say mount it off the firewall, but you're actually not supposed to have your fuel pressure regulator on the firewall. Not by NHRA rules, and it's not exactly safe. So probably put it somewhere over here, probably down a little bit. So the way that this deadhead system works is it doesn't come in and go out somewhere like normal fuel pressure, like fuel rails do. So you have to go in here, out there, and deadhead the system, and then have return down here. So it's a little weird, it's a little different, but it should work fine. So let's get to it, figure out how this thing can mount up. So I saw a couple people were a little confused by this, because either I run it this way or I move the in wire to the alternator to here. And it's basically the same thing. The alternator is just a post at this point for the main battery power, and then to the fuse box for the rest of the car. But that's not the way that you turn on your alternator. The alternator has a wire that goes in right here that needs to see 12 volts as an excite wire to turn it on. So this won't keep it running with the battery. Like, you won't keep the car running because you're backfeeding. If you have your excite wire wired correctly, and obviously the ECU goes directly to the battery like it's supposed to, and the kill switch on the back of the car is going to turn off everything. So this shouldn't really be an issue. Even like on OEM applications, like a lot of Chevys, they go from the alternator like this to the starter. That's where they jump power. So jumping power with an alternator is actually pretty common, and using the post on the alternator should be perfectly fine. And then it uses this main wire to send it back to the battery. But the kill switch is in between, is basically at the end of this wire is the kill switch, and then the battery. So everything should be okay, shouldn't be an issue. I run this exact same way on the 240 and it works fine, so not really too worried about it, but I figured if I could shed some light on my thought process here, maybe to help some guys out on their cars and answer a couple of safety concerns some people might be having. So I decided to put it right here, and I'll use like a little P-clip to hold the fuel line right there to the strut tower. Tighten this up. It's still not tight yet, just kind of mocking it all up. Made this little bracket, bent it, and then this is going to be the feed, and then that's going to be the return, and I'll try to get them to go together, kind of like that, drop down right there, and then go by the header probably. Try to keep it away from the header, but obviously there's not really a great way to do that, but it is what it is. I'm gonna try my best to see what it can do, but can't really do a whole lot. Running out of space quickly, so this is the only spot it could really go because of where this is. I mean, I could have tried to put it over there, but there's just no space. Okay, so I got the fuel tank in so I can mock up the rest of these fuel lines. This is the -6 return. This is the -10 feed to the pump, which I don't have yet, but I need to go to a fuel filter first, and I think I might just put the fuel filter and pump right here, and then go, I don't know yet, something like that. So probably put it like right there because that seems like a good solid spot to bolt it to, even though if it does a wheelie, it'll be like one of the first things to drag, but it's a risk you have to take. I cannot put it in this area. One, because this is where all the burnouts happen, so kind of get wrecked. And then two, because there's a fuel filler neck that has to go here. So they both have to kind of go like this into the fuel pumps, into the filters, and then back around. And I think I'll go up and over like this, down, up, something along those lines. I don't know where I'm going yet. Probably, I don't even know. I don't know yet. Not exactly an easy deal, but I'll figure it out. So gonna work towards that and see how I can get this set up and see what I can do for fuel fittings here. So let's get to it. Okay, so I just plumbed the catch can. Just a little quick deal right here. Did a little 90, 180 off of there, and then a 90 off of the back. They both come through right here, and then loop into the catch can. I had different fittings I had for this. There's a little kink there. I gotta like kind of straighten it out or something. I don't know. But I had different fittings for this catch can, but they weren't the right ones. These are kind of an odd fitting on them. They're like a pipe thread, and I ordered NPT. I don't know. It's weird. So I had to end up use these, but I'm gonna use some clamps on there. I already got this one ready to go. Just need to tighten it on there. It'll be good enough for now. The object of this car is running, driving, safe, well done, but not pretty yet. Pretty will come way down the line. So bear with me, guys. Even like this hole I drilled for this overflow, like this. Not pretty, but working. That's what we need. So I cut the old intake up a little bit and put this like old filter that I had off the V1 onto there. And it actually fits pretty well. The hood closes and it should clear everything, so not terrible, honestly. So pretty good. Happy with that. Not exactly the most useful thing of my time, but you know, you got to do everything, so might as well do the little things as you get them. All right, time for a quick little dinner break here. So wired up the transmission cooler. I don't really even showed you guys how I did it. Time is not on my side, so I just zip tied it to the AC condenser. The AC condenser isn't bolted in yet, but just zip tied it to there. I don't know, we'll see, I guess. The AC condenser won't even be working for this first trip. Wired up the two relays here, one for the fan, and then the other for this fan, and then these are the two trigger wires. Grounds are already done, and I'm just gonna tie these two triggers together because once the radiator fan is on, I want this to be on anyways, and there's not a whole lot of outputs. I don't know, maybe. I haven't figured that out yet either, but something like that. So I'm just gonna put these into the ECU, but basically we want these fans going almost all the time when we're driving, and they probably will be, so might as well just tee them together, and it's one less output that I have to use. Put the fuel pressure sensor in, and then just have to put a wire to it. On the Camaro, I use like a 90 down. That makes it a little nicer for this sensor. Don't have one, so there it is. In the back, I wired up everything too. So this is the trigger for the water pump, and then this is the trigger and the power for the fuel pump, and then the fuel pump trigger from the ECU is right here, already built in, so I just have to tie those together. Good to go. And then this has to go right to the fuel pump. This is the main power that goes to here, and then there's going to be a kill switch right here that goes from main power to the battery that's going to be in this box. Whew. Man, there's so much going on, so many things I have to do, so many things I'm thinking about, but it's part of the fun, right? So I'm gonna keep plugging away. All right, well, I think I have about 8 hours of solid work into this car today, and it just feels so daunting, but it's so much fun. I love the Thrash. It's so great. There's so much to do, so much freaking happening. Got this one brake line done. It's not the prettiest, but I'm really bad at brake lines. As long as they don't hit anything and they don't leak, it's a good brake line. Started on the other one, but I'm gonna leave it there for now. Kind of does one of these numbers and then has to go. I don't know, I'm too tired. I had 1 cup of coffee tonight, energy drink, but I am just cooked. So, be back in the morning. It's pretty late, so kind of just done for the day. Wired up some relays, did some more lines, catch can, I don't know, all kinds of junk. It's all meshing together, but that's gonna do it for tonight. We will see you guys in the morning. Oh, and I also wanted to say, these are safety glasses. I've just become permanently wearing them because I find myself cutting something or looking up under the car so often and getting stuff in my eyes so often that I just found it easier to just walk into the shop, put on safety glasses, and call it a day. I don't actually mind wearing them at all. I kind of like them, actually. They're kind of cool, but yeah, so the permanent safety glasses is kind of just my new thing, I guess, for when I'm really working on a car. But I'm gonna call it there. I'll see you guys in the morning. All right, I'm gonna end it there. I got a lot done today. Brake lines are almost done. They're like a couple flares from being done. And radiators all in, bolted up, nice and tight. Oh man, I accomplished a bunch today. I started messing with the grounding straps. So I got 2 of these, one for the battery to the ground, and then one for the cylinder head to the chassis. I like grounding, clearly. Maybe I'll go to motor to chassis, I don't know. Something like that. I'm kind of crazy about grounds. I like using these ground straps as well, but use 2 of those and then other grounding wires, of course, but 2 of those for grounding. I was messing with interior more. I was messing with water tank more. It's almost good to go. I have the drain line done. Ordered the rest of the hose today. This is all mounted up now. Got my main power wire all tucked. Got the brake line wire going to the brake lights. So these 2 wires right here go into the cab and then go to where the old brake lights would be. So basically the on switch is now this instead of the old brake light stuff. Yada yada yada. So many other things I've been doing, but just little stupid things here and there that take up so much time. You guys know the fun of building a car, the last 10%. But I'm gonna end it there. Hope you guys have a great weekend. Happy Friday. Keep it saucy. I'll see you next time.